Someone asked me, Nicholeen, how do I get my kids to stop fighting? Well, I'm Nicholeen Peck, and I teach all about good parenting, good communication, and even how the children can stop fighting with each other. And that's what we're going to be talking about in this video. So I teach about self-government. Self-government is when each person learns to analyze themselves and to make plans for themselves going forward that will be productive and help them be the most understood. And children don't just need the skills of self-government when they're working with their parents or teachers, but they need the skills of self-government when they're working with each other too. In this video, we're going to be talking about siblings fighting with each other or children fighting with each other and what we can do as parents to prepare them to stop those fights before they start. Sibling rivalry is not something that's new to your family or anybody else's. It happens all the time. But just so that you know, it doesn't have to happen. It can stop. I know that some people just say, just embrace it. It is what it is. Kids will be kids. But I want you to know something. I can only remember a few circumstances. We're talking maybe on one hand. I had 4 children of my own. That those 4 children argued with each other in a way that I would call it a fight. They didn't hit each other, ever. They might have taken a toy when they were little from each other. And they never hit, they never got angry or aggressive. Actually, I have to take that back because there was one time that my oldest son, sorry Quinn, don't mean to throw you under the bus here, but there was a time when Quinn did hit one of his siblings. I remember that. I believe it happened out on the trampoline. But there are literally a handful of circumstances where I could say that they were fighting with each other. Usually they just solved their problems well because I taught them how to do it. And if they didn't know how to do it, they knew to come and get me and I would help them through it so that they could practice how to solve their problems. When people would meet my children, they always used to comment on how happy they are, what good relationships they have, how much they enjoy each other. And that's actually true. In fact, they were the very best of friends with each other. They were better friends with their siblings than they were with their other neighborhood and school friends. I know that seems weird to some people, but it's because we put our focus there. Every day was about family and the family bonds and the family culture more than it was about friends and just being with people of your same age. And because they had a lot of time with each other as siblings, they learned how to communicate and how to associate with people of different ages instead of just people that are the same age, like might be in a school class. So let's talk about what type of an environment I created so that my children could learn to get along with each other, and then what to do if they do have a circumstance when they might be fighting. So my children learned key things, key skills. I taught them what I call the 4 basic skills of self-government. These children's books each teach one of the 4 basic skills. They teach following instructions, accepting consequences, disagreeing appropriately, and accepting no answers and criticism. When a person learns the skill sets to all 4 of these 4 basic skills, that takes care of 99% of their behavioral problems. I'm talking adults too. These are just adult skills. Everyone needs to know them. So I taught my children these skills starting when they were little babies. They learned what a calm face, voice, and body were. They learned that they could say okay or disagree appropriately with mom about something. They learned how to drop subjects, follow through, check back, seek to understand other people's point of view. All of those are steps that are part of those 4 basic skills. They learned those skills, and then they were able to use those skills not just with mom and dad, but with each other too. In fact, one of the most important skills that they learned with each other was the skill disagreeing appropriately. So let's talk about the skill in this book, Page Takes the Stage, which teaches disagreeing appropriately. The children can learn how to do this skill with each other, but first they're going to be practicing the skill with you. When a person disagrees appropriately, they do 7 different steps, which include seeking to understand another person, staying calm, and then expressing their own point of view, as well as accepting the other person's point of view if they don't agree afterward. My children learned the 7-step process for how to disagree appropriately and used it all the time. One of my favorite parenting memories happened one day as I was walking down the hallway past my son's room. In his room, my son and my daughter were playing Lego together. And while they were playing Lego, I heard my daughter say to my son, "Porter, I'm going to disagree appropriately with you." And Porter said, "Okay, London." And she said, "Porter, I know that you want to use those wheels, but I'm trying to make a car and I need wheels, so can I use those wheels until you're ready to use them?" And he said, "Okay, sure." And she said, "Thank you." And they used the wheels together. They shared them. They each took turns building their cars using the same set of wheels. I don't even know if I bought more wheels after that, but I probably should have. They definitely needed more wheels to work with. But it was beautiful to hear them talk about the situation with each other and come to a resolution without me even being there to help. Now, many times before that moment, they came to get me for help. So maybe one of them would give a no answer about a Lego block, and the other one would disagree appropriately, and then the other one wouldn't want to accept that disagree appropriately, and then they didn't know how to handle the situation. So they would come and they would find me, and I would help talk them through the circumstance. I did that many times, but then soon they learned they could do it themselves. And that's what they did. When my children got to college or when they went out on missions for our church, they would tell me about how they were disagreeing appropriately with their roommates and handling problems in a calm and effective way, and how grateful they were that they had the skills that some of the other people they were living with didn't seem to have. These skills, like disagreeing appropriately, accepting no answers, and criticism, don't just help them get along with each other, but they also help them mature quicker, which is something that they're all wanting. Disagreeing appropriately is a super important skill. I'm sure you see how it can help you. Learning the other skills also help the children so that they can stop problems before they start. But we also need to talk about what to do when they have a problem. How do you help them in that moment when they are fighting with each other? Well, we're going to talk about that next, but before we do, click that subscribe button now. So what do we do when they have a problem? Here they are in the other room going after each other. They're yelling, they're angry. Well, it is important that we disrupt the pattern a little bit. So usually what I say is stop talking, everyone. Stop talking. And I might say it even kind of loud if I feel like they're not going to hear me. But they know the way I'll correct problems. They know if mom comes in and says stop talking, or if mom's even in the room, then they probably need to stop talking. So I say stop talking, everybody. Then what I do is I say, if they're standing, I say let's sit on the couch. If they're sitting on the floor, I say, how about we all come over here to the table? Or how about we all stand up and come over here? I'm going to leave the situation in another location so that we can have a third-person view of that situation, so that we can look at it from the outside and see how we could have handled it differently. Then I'm going to do something that I call a group problem solving. In a group problem solving, I hear each person's point of view, and there's a certain way that I do it so that they don't argue when they're doing the group problem solving. I talk about that in my TSG parenting course. Anyway, but I let them each share their point of view. I make sure that I validate their point of view. And then what I do is I tell them what skill each of them should have used. At that point, they may get the opportunity to earn an extra chore or some sort of a negative consequence. We usually use extra chores in our family. And some people might be thinking, get the opportunity to earn? That doesn't sound like anything bad at all. Exactly. It's not. It's just a negative consequence. They're learning self-government. They're learning cause and effect. It's not a bad thing to be corrected and to earn a negative consequence like an extra chore. And it doesn't have to even be something that takes a long time. It can be something so simple. So anyway, they might earn an extra chore because one of them didn't accept a no answer. The other one didn't disagree appropriately, perhaps. And then we're going to practice things the right way, maybe even more than once with other circumstances that might be similar to the circumstance that they just went through. So we're going to do this by doing what I call an effective role play. The effective role play is going to help them practice things the right way. A person needs more experience doing things the right way than the wrong way in order to create a new habit. And I definitely want my children to develop new habits for how they can solve their problems together the right way. There are so many skills that I could teach you that will help your children learn to navigate those difficult moments when they are arguing with each other. One of the best ways that you can become fully prepared to stop the sibling rivalry at your house is by taking the TSG parenting course. On my website, I have a course called the TSG parenting course. It takes you step by step through learning all of the skills and principles that you need for self-government, and you get mentoring, personal mentoring with that course as well. I'll also answer all of your questions for you as you come up with circumstances that you might think are exclusive or unique to your family. If you go to teachingselfgovernment.com, go to the shop section or the store section, and then find the TSG parenting course there. That is the best way to start learning self-government today and to get the greatest results. Click on teachingselfgovernment.com right now, and I'll see you there.